Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the conclusion of Edward Gardner's Brahms cycle, Symphonies numbers 2 and 4 on one well-filled CD. How long does it last? 81 minutes and 24 seconds, largely on account of some rather fleet tempi. Now, disc number 1 had Symphonies 1 and 3, and I have to give Gardner credit, first of all, for being one of the rare conductors who does not screw up Symphony number 3. In fact, he gives an excellent performance of it. They're all excellent performances. I remember when 1 and 3 came out, I loathed them. I really did. I thought they were just awful. And the reason I thought they were awful is exactly why I like them now, because they are swift, they are light, they are transparent, they're not shallow, they're not lacking in depth, they're not lacking in rhythm or punch. The climax is really, really rip, actually. They're very, very well done. But at the time, I thought that they were just sort of hasty and metronomic. And then I listened again and again and again. And it just goes to show that one's initial impression, especially if you have certain preconceived notions of how the work should go, may not necessarily be valid or helpful, actually, in describing a performance, because these are very personalized performances, actually. Gardner's a fine conductor. I'm willing to go with him. I really am, because I trust him. He's not going to do anything like stupid, as so many others do, and he's not trying to be different for its own sake, but he is brisk, and his flexibility of pulse is subtle rather than like grotesque. I said before, this is Brahms without the bullshit. All that heaviness and German profundity. Well, I like that, frankly. And now we're doing, the Brahms in the Meiningen tradition, which is push me, pull you, tempi and phrases twisted about like taffy and all that. I like that too. If it's done well. The fact of the matter is Brahms has a tremendous range of how he can be played. And Gardner has a vision. And he's got the Bergen Philharmonic playing fantastically well. They sound wonderful, especially as recorded here. So let's talk about the performances. Symphony number 2. First movement has the exposition repeat, but takes about 18 minutes. Just the opposite of one of my other favorite recordings, Giulini with the Los Angeles Philharmonic, which takes 20 some odd minutes. It's a totally different conception. It's slow. Oh my goodness, but gorgeous. Well, this is all activity and zippiness, and I love it. It takes, usually the opening of the symphony is so sleepy. It's going to be sleepy because Brahms wrote the sleepitude into it. It doesn't need help sounding somnolescent. But here it's flowing from the very start. The development section is really mean with the trombones doing their nasty stuff beautifully well. The slow movement is less Elgarian than it often sounds. Again, it moves at a relatively brisk tempo, not facile, I think, or in any way shallow, but it moves. It really moves, as does the whole symphony. And the finale is exciting. But just to show you, I like the ending with a good sort of accelerando at the end, of the way Joachim and Walter used to do it. It really was fun. Nowadays, everybody tries to keep the tempo pretty steady as it's going da 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 bum ba da 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 da. I like to have it like da 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 da. It's just fun when it speeds up a little. Well, Gardner injects extra vitality in life without doing anything that people would point the finger at him and say, no, that's vulgar, you're speeding up. It's already going at a good clip. You don't really have to speed up if you're already there. So that was smart of him. I like that. I really do. Playing with the little thing here in the jewel box. So that's that. The fourth. The first movement is not excessively quick. It's very, very beautifully articulated. The real speed demon in the first movement of the fourth is Stokowski. Yadam, ba-da, da-dum, ba-dum, da-dum. That's, Stokey. This is more traditional. But it builds to a big, yummy coda at the end. And Gardner isn't afraid to drive the music hard to give us some excitement. The second movement is a real andante. I mean, I love it that way. It's almost always taken too slowly, frankly, I think. I mean, it's a balladesque movement. It's telling a story, and it has to really have, I think, a sense of urgency. And here we have the sense of urgency. It's really one of my favorite performances of the slow movement, I think. It really is. The scherzo, the third movement, powerful. Again, it's not ridiculously speedy, but it's full of energy. It's a dynamo, and that's what it has to be. Triangle part, very well articulated. And the finale. Oh, the finale. Well, he doesn't monkey around with the opening statement of the Passacaglia theme, which I think is actually very, very good. It should just be forthright. And forthrightness is actually a good way to characterize these performances. They pull no punches, and they just present the music in a very tactile way. The whole Passacaglia works well, and the closing stages are really, really exciting. But again, without being in any way sort of vulgar or, flogging the music unnecessarily. The last chord is interesting. How long do you hold the last chord? Brahms wrote it. It's very short. Most people, give it a little extra time to make its impression, and you should. I mean, you really should. And Gardner does, just a little, just enough for emphasis. It's really a thoughtful, beautifully done performance all the way through, and I really enjoyed these. I like these. I downloaded them to my iPhone so that I can listen to them when I'm traveling. So that shows you, now I can put this thing back here, that shows you, I think, how much I enjoyed these performances, and I think you will too. But first impressions may be deceptive. This is a sensational Brahms cycle. It really, really is. And it's different. It's different from all the other ones, which I think is wonderful. It just goes to show that there's still some juice in this old music, isn't there? If you get a smart person on the podium in an orchestra that's willing to go with them, you can do wonderful things. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.